Welcome to day 15 of the stream. 15 days in a row. Even though it's late. And man, do I have work to do tonight. I feel like I say that every night, but this has really been like the busiest month and I've had in a long time. And it just so happened to come when I decided to do NaNoWriMo. But it is what it is. Hmm. All right. So let's see here. Hmm. Oh man. This. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna do just a little bit of writing today or tonight. Got it in. Oh man, I feel like I should. Like this is one of those times where I'm like, why did I make this crazy commitment to do this every night and sticking with it? Because like I literally have just got off the phone with a client who's like, all right, you gonna have that for me tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah. Except for I got a stream. So hopefully they get their stuff. Hopefully they get their stuff by tomorrow. But I needed to do this so that I could, yeah, switch modes, get a little creative writing in. Um, Not that I haven't been doing some creative writing. I've been doing a little bit of creative writing today, but not a whole lot. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta write when you're tired, even if you don't realize what you writ or what you wrote. It's pretty cool. Today, actually, I was talking to I was talking to somebody about um about their writing, a protege of mine, and she was asking me about my she was asking me, if someone asks her what does she bring to the table as a writer, what should she say? And we had a great discussion about finding your voice, which I believe, it starts with writing from experience. Um, finding something that you're that something, uh, for lack of a better expression, I think finding your voice at the basic level of it is having an opinion in your writing. So even if you're writing fiction, you're still writing with a specific kind of opinion or point of view, and telling your story through your point of view or through your lens. That is, that goes toward finding your voice. And you say, well, I'm young. I don't have a whole lot of experience. I don't have a whole lot of life experience. I'm not, but if you're old enough to think to yourself, I don't have a lot of life experience, then you have a lot of life experience. If you're old enough to think that, then you already have something worth digging into and finding. Like, what is it like? I mean, even if it's as simple as, how do you feel about whatever life situation you're in at the time? If you're a teenager or you're a young adult, and did you have a happy childhood? Did you have did your childhood did you do you have happy memories of your childhood? Do you have things in your childhood that you struggled with? Did you have a childhood that you never want to relive again? That's life experience. That's something to passionately write about. That's something that you can take and insert into your story. I'm not telling you just to write your life story, but what are your thoughts on why your childhood was so happy, and what are some of the struggles you struggled with, and how'd you deal with them? You can put that into a story. You can take any story. Like, let's say you had a incredibly happy childhood, and you want to show that in some way, or you want to show what was your favorite thing about your childhood. You can write a space epic that is a metaphor for that. You take things and um on the surface it looks like starships and planets and stars, but the underlying message is, you know enjoy your childhood because you only get one. Someone once told me that you got to enjoy your childhood because it's a you are oh, I forgot to share the stream, because you're only, childhood is temporary, adulthood is forever. So, you know, you can always, I mean, you're going to be an adult forever. So, but you can never go back to being a child. So enjoy it. Enjoy being a kid. But did you enjoy being a kid? Were there things about childhood that you enjoyed? So yeah, just start with or just who you are. Like, what was it like being a boy? What was it like being a girl? What was it like being a boy or a girl of color? What was it like being, someone who was popular in school? What was it like being someone who wasn't popular in school? What was it like growing up in the city, in the country, in the burbs? These are all things that can be your voice to begin with. And then if you can, and it's okay if your opinions change too. So let's say when you're young and you write an opinion, and you have an opinion about something, maybe even something that your parents taught you, or
people taught you, you're like, oh man, like that's the way of life. That's what I'm gonna live by. And then you write a story that affirms that, and you are very proud of it. And then when you get a little older, maybe your opinion changes about that same topic, and you decide to write a new story about how it changes. Sometimes you have to choose to be passionate about something. Our passions usually spring from within us, and it's something that we are, kind of organic. But when you decide to write, if you choose to be passionate about something, I'm telling you, that'll strengthen your writing. And it'll go a long way toward finding your voice. There's something that I learned a little while ago, and sometimes if you're, in creative circles, or even if you're just, someone who talks about literature or movies or music, and you've heard someone say, "Oh my goodness, that director or that musician or that writer is such a hack." And then you hear, and then, oh, that person's not a hack. And then kind of the opposite of a hack, sort of, is what's called an auteur. And the idea is that an auteur creates from deep-rooted ideas, while a hack creates on a surface level. And a lot of times, even as we're watching stuff, or listening to stuff or reading stuff, sometimes we mistake hacks for auteurs and auteurs for hacks. It happens all the time. The fact that you didn't like something doesn't automatically make the person who created it a hack. And the fact that you love something doesn't automatically make someone an auteur. And here's the thing. You also have that idea that hack is just, kind of has a negative connotation. And I guess admittedly it does. When you say, oh, that's just a hack, it kind of sounds bad. But there's nothing wrong with making entertainment that is just surface level entertainment. Fun, doesn't really say anything. But I feel like if you're going to be a writer, you can start out that way, but your writing will improve if you begin to write with an auteur sensibility, or with the sensibility that I'm trying to make an argument about something. I'm trying to say something. It's the same thing in like academic papers, right? If you're writing an academic paper, you have to be forceful about your argument and saying, like, this is what I'm arguing, and this is what I'm passionately arguing. Here are the facts. Here's some, here's some not circumstantial, what's the word? Stories, anecdotal, anecdotal facts. Here's, things that other people have said, in my opinion about them, how it relates to what I'm saying. That makes your writing stronger. Whereas, kind of a hacky paper might be something where you just make a frivolous kind of like, I'm just saying this to say it, and, or copying someone else's work, or et cetera, et cetera. The idea is that as you're growing as a writer, as you're trying to write something, finding, if you're especially if you're struggling and you don't know exactly what you want to say, finding the passion in it, or chasing some type of passion, will strengthen the writing, even if it's not like organic, where it's like, oh my goodness, like this is, I've always felt this way, right? I need to tell the world about it, but if you're writing something, why are you writing it? If you say, I'm writing it because I want this to be, the next Marvel, or the next Harry Potter, or the next Nicholas Sparks, or the next whatever, then, and if you're just saying that because those are big names that made a lot of money and they got a lot of notoriety, and the only reason you want to write or create is to be that thing, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to find your story. On the other hand, if you say, man, Captain America really spoke to me because of, this specific aspect. And that's why I want to write a story similar to that, or I want to write a story talking about the same themes. And that's why you're, tracking with Captain America, or Harry Potter, really, talked about these values or these specific themes that really speak to me and the struggles of the students and good versus evil, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why you want to track with Harry Potter, then go for it. But if you just want to write something like Harry Potter because you think that's just going to be the next big thing, you're not going to find your own story in there. And that's not to say that you shouldn't look for, that you shouldn't pay attention to trends and things that catch people's attention. That's absolutely part of trying to become, a successful writer. But finding that balance between, the trendy or something that catches on and something that is genuine and coming from you. If you can find that balance, then that's when you get, your Star Warses and your, Sex in the City, or your Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, just a lot of different things that got caught on. They caught on, yes, for that surface level of, oh, that's amazing, or that's funny, or like, oh goodness, I'm really entertaining. But at the same time, the auteur sensibilities of the people creating it really shone through. It's a perfect combination. So with this project, yeah, I think, we spoke about it way back in one of the first streams, but just to kind of revisit it, yeah, this story is about that struggle between predestination and choice. So there's there's a lot of stuff about time and about the future and the past and everything. And it's about predestination is choice. And it also plays with it'll come through as we begin to write it, but I personally have some pretty passionate feelings about the dichotomy and the paradox of predestination versus choice, especially in terms of faith and religion, where you talk about the idea of your path already being laid out for you. Still, like your destiny is already laid out for you. What's going to happen has already been predestined, and God knows everything that's going to happen. But at the same time, we're still living in this world where we're making decisions. So just kind of playing with that idea of, all right, is the timeline laid out? Is the destiny laid out? Is there a time where it's determined that's the day our life is going to come to an end? But at the same time, do we make choices? If you eat unhealthy, very, very unhealthy, deliberately unhealthy, or you have a vice that is destroying your body, and you're making that choice to do that, did you make that choice, or did destiny make that choice? Or can you make a choice to stop doing that, no matter how many people? So it's just. So that's kind of like the passion that I'm working with in this story. So if you've been following along, you know that there is, there's these future historians who are already telling me. So see, that's how I tackle this. And this will come up explicitly, but this is what I'm thinking as I write this story, that, how do we deal with this paradox of predestination versus choice? So that's my passion when it comes to this story. And I have a lot of religious friends out there, a lot of Christian friends out there, and I will be eager to see what they say when the story is written, because or when the story is out there and if they ever read it, because it's going to end up being a tough discussion. And I say it like with all this, like these are the deeper layers of what the discussion is going to be. On a surface level, this is going to be a superhero story. There's going to be people flying around with powers and fighting and battles and everything like that. But yeah, there will be some underlying stuff going on. And if you catch it, it may not be the most reaffirming of everyone's beliefs either way. So yeah. So I say all that to say let's get a little bit of writing on. It's like a 15-minute ramble, I guess. So let's see. Interior, Platinum City. Platinum City University, I meant. One of the other things that like I kind of like to have as a through line in a lot of the stories that I'm working on, and even in the universe that me and my friend created, is the fact that knowledge is literally power. So it's a cliche, knowledge is power, yeah. But in this situation, libraries, knowledge is power. So the symbolism of that is that, there will be, libraries are very powerful places and symbolic places when I put them in my story. So I'm thinking about having that here because, as you can see, Jessica goes to see Willie Thomas, and he's about to drop some knowledge on her. But then there's a chrono shock, and things get crazy. City Library. Let's just go with this and we'll see what happens. We'll say this is the next day. Let's say never it's a veritable sea of books and information. Books and information. See books and information stacked. Books and information. All right, we're just gonna leave it at that right now. Jessica enters. Jessica, books of information, dozens, if not hundreds of people. Students, faculty, and others. Study, search, and sift. I don't know. I like the word sift. It's a veritable sea of books and information. Dozens, if not hundreds, of students, faculty, and others study, search, and sift. I actually have another story that I'm working on. That's gonna also focus on that. That's actually going to be centered around around the power of words, power of books. So. We're not going to talk about that one right now, though. We're going to talk about that. Comes to a series of, it comes to an open area that is filled with study cubes, many of which are floating in the air, passing several stacks, and comes to an open, huge open area that is filled with study cubes, many of which are floating above. I don't know exactly what the visual of that is looking for. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to use to describe that visual, but the idea is kind of like it's like a cylindrical kind of area that goes up, and there's just like cubes floating. It's kind of like, what am I thinking of? Maybe Ready Player One, like the club dance scene where they're like kind of like dancing all over, up and down and floating. I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything right now. It's late, but I'll describe it later. I know what it looks like in my head. When I see that, I think about it. I'll rewrite a little bit more. Because remember, this is futuristic, so I'm just finding little ways to put in like little future touches, and then when I go back through it and rewrite it, that's when I'll really begin to kind of plug in more kind of futuristic touches. This comes to a huge area filled with study cubes, many of which are floating. Dr. Beck. Just call it an Apple Watch for now because you guys know what that means. And I know what that means. I'll call it some type of other thing later. I was going to say about 2 stories up, lights up. I guess that technically that works. But about 2 stories above, lights up. She takes a few steps. She takes a. Nope. Nah. Mm. 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 Nope, she wouldn't say I need your advice. She'd say we need to talk. She's not coming for her. Nope. I'll be right down. Hmm. Well, what are you waiting for? Well, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Willa Thomas is old. That's not exactly what I want to say right there. New scene. No, not continuous. Yeah. Hmm. I'm doing that right now. It's still stylistic. Oh, it's already 54 minutes into the stream. So you got some stuff done. Got a little bit of stuff done. So yeah, it's just midnight now. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to call it a night. Cause got a lot of work to do. And I can't be crazy tired tomorrow. I actually don't have a lot of time obligations tomorrow, so I'll be able to do some stuff. Oh, this week got away from me real fast. I had grand plans for this week, but a bunch of clients came through, had to take care of them, so some other things fell through. That happens though. Work takes. Gotta work. Work takes precedent. But I had to get my NaNoWriMo on. All these streams have been so late at night over those last few days. I really want to do a stream earlier so that I'm not like crazy tired by the time I get to it. Okay, well, we got a little done. We are actually singing away. We're on page 18. Oh, wait a second. What am I doing here? Yeah, let's get rid of that. Get rid of some of these extra pages and spaces. Just a little cleanup. All right. I think I'm going to have to call it a night so that I can get some sleep and be ready to do a bunch of stuff for some clients tomorrow. And man, this month has not gone how I planned. About the only thing that's going as planned is the fact that I've done this every day, every night. But yeah. Oh man, I'm missing a couple of things that I really wanted to do this month. I know what you're saying. Well, stop doing this NaNoWriMo and do those things. It's not quite that easy. I don't know if I don't think it's a necessarily like a time management thing as much as it's just a capacity thing, or not a capacity thing, but it's like it's not a time management thing. It's more of a timing thing. Um, it's just certain things I want to give more time to this month that I just haven't been able to do for numerous reasons. But this is something that I can kind of, do right before I lay down and go to sleep. So, um, since it's a little bit of free writing and I can talk and yap a little bit and interact with viewers and just kind of spout my thoughts. Also, I guess sometimes it's like my video journal for the end of the day, where at this point I feel like I talk about the same thing all the time, or at least talk about, oh man, November's been so crazy, da 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 da. But that's what's on my mind right now. November's been crazy, and I haven't been able to, accomplish a lot of the things that I want to accomplish this month. I have a couple of people out there hanging, waiting to hear from me. A couple of creative partners waiting to hear from me about some different things, and so yeah, I mean, it's not a time thing. It's like it's a different kind of energy. Um, this at this point takes a little less energy. There's like less pressure, so I can just kind of bust it out. Some of these other things that I need to do takes a little bit more energy, and so when I think about doing them, it overwhelms me a little bit, and I'm like, I gotta pull back. So I don't know if that even begins to explain. That might have just sounded like a ramble. Probably was. But yeah. Anyway, all right. I'm going to roll out for now. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. I see y'all watching. Got 3 viewers. Well, I guess 2 viewers. One of them is me, or 2 of them might be me. I don't know. Anyway, shout out to Str8 Legendary, TCE, TCIS, and T-Bandwagon. And to all the other creative partners and folks out there. If you're writing, keep writing. If you're creating, keep creating. If you're making music, keep making music. If you're trying to start a business, keep trying to start that business. If you are studying, keep your study on. And if you just living life every day, day to day, keep rocking and rolling. Creativity is calling. Everyone has a story. Let's get out there and tell it. Whether it's in writing, whether it's in music, whether it's in film, whether it's just in the way you live your life, tell your story. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Hey, that legend, it keeps growing and growing. Huzzah, my friends. Huzzah.